Most people keep dogs and cats as pets, but maybe you want something more niche, something more interesting, and something more cool. If you want a cool looking, interesting to keep, but also easy to keep reptile, then this is it. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I think that the leopard gecko is the best species of reptile that you can keep. Now I know that the leopard gecko is a very commonly suggested pet reptile, but trust me, there's a reason why this species is so popular. Firstly, they are easy to care, and I'm not saying that it is easy to perfect their care, but it's very easy to keep them alive. And this is because they're very hardy by nature. So the reason for this is, in the wild, leopard geckos come from Pakistan and India, and some are even found in countries nearby. And the thing about Pakistan and India is that there's a massive variation of types of places. So for example, there are forests, sand dunes, like the I don't know how to pronounce it, but THAR desert. There are leopard geckos found in human settlements. There are leopard geckos found around rivers. They're everywhere, and the reason they're everywhere is because the way they're adapted lets them thrive in whatever conditions. Now I'm not saying that you should, put them in an empty box with just tissues, but if you do mess up something in their care, it is likely that because of their evolution and biology, they can cope with it. So that's one of the reasons why I really like leopard geckos, is because for beginner reptile keepers, they're very forgiving. For example, you'll see leopard geckos kept in just all types of enclosures, and they do survive. So not necessarily thrive, but they do survive. This is unlike some other species which have very specific care requirements. Now I'm not saying that you shouldn't get those. I'm not going to be like other people saying that, if you're a beginner, then you have to get a leopard gecko or a crested gecko or a bearded dragon. If you want a chameleon or a tegu or a monitor lizard, then you don't really need to get any reptile to sort of prepare you for that. I think you should just do your research and then get those reptiles. Now I need to stop yapping. Second reason is the variety of morphs. So even if you don't like the normal patterned leopard gecko, so the wild type, there are so many selectively bred morphs because leopard geckos have been bred for a very long time, and because of this there are many color variations. So for example, there are albinos, or albinos, however you pronounce it. There are snow leopard geckos, there are tangerines, there are so many that I don't even know all of them. So yeah, you can definitely find one that suits you and a morph that you like. In case you're wondering, I think mine is I know that it's an albino, but I don't know which type. So if you do know, please let me know, because I am quite curious. So yeah. Thirdly, they have really good personalities. So I know that a lot of people say that leopard geckos are really easy to tame and they're quite mellow, and this is kind of true for my leopard gecko. He doesn't bite me or anything, but he doesn't really let me touch him or hold him or anything. But even then, compared to a massive monitor, even if it is aggressive or defensive, I should say, it can't really harm you because it's quite small, and the bite is also quite weak. I've been bitten once before. It wasn't on purpose or anything. He probably thought my hand was food or something, because I was holding a bit of food and he just accidentally bit my finger, and it literally just felt like those clip things used for clothes, to hang clothes. It literally did not hurt at all. Their teeth are not sharp. Fun fact, they actually have over 100 teeth, but they're very tiny and they're not proper teeth. I'll try to find a picture of a leopard gecko's teeth, but they are quite interesting, especially at night. You always see them in the weirdest poses, and it's always just quite funny watching them do their thing. and also they look very cute. I mean, this might just be like anthropomorphism, but they always look like they're smiling. And they also have like chubby tails. By the way, obese leopard geckos are not cute, but even healthy leopard geckos have chubby tails, which, to be fair, they do look cute. Even my mom, who's like scared of, she doesn't like reptiles, even she finds leopard geckos cute. So yeah, I don't really see how anyone could, be disgusted by leopard geckos. So reason number 4, there are plenty of information online about the care for leopard geckos. Again, they've been kept for a very long time compared to other species, so you can learn a lot from other people's like past experiences, and through trial and error we've learned quite a lot about their like care requirements. Unfortunately, there's not that much like wild habitat data. I would love to go there one day and like do my own research, but for now, wild habitat data is quite hard to find. Although this is the best tip I can give you. iNaturalist has tons of like pictures of leopard gecko like wild habitat. They don't really like describe their life, it just shows a picture of them and like the ground they're on. So I mean, that's still useful if you're trying to like recreate the habitat, although that's not really my goal anymore. But yeah, if you want inspiration, iNaturalist is really helpful. Yeah, but I just wish we had more data on like, for example, whether they live together in the wild. And there's just so many like controversial topics on leopard geckos. So yeah, that would be great in the future. Sorry, I'm going on a bit of a tangent again. Yeah, back to the main point. There are plenty of information that makes it easier to research and makes it easier to, give good care. Last reason, leopard geckos aren't really stressful to keep. Now there are stressful like moments from me keeping my leopard gecko, like sometimes they escape and like not everything goes to plan, and that's likely to happen. But on a day-to-day like basis, normally it is quite simple. Once you like settle down, like you've set up the tank and everything, you basically just have to refill the water bowl every day, feed it every other day depending on like the age of your leopard gecko and the size, and then spray the enclosure whenever you feel like it needs more humidity. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and like the occasional like enrichment, which is technically optional, but I think it does make a big difference. So yeah, it's really like simple. After you've like set up everything and done all the research, that's the hard bit, and then afterwards it just kind of becomes a routine. If you have to like catch him or like take him to the vet or anything, it's also quite easy because they're very slow. It's very unlikely to like run away or like sprint away, unlike something like an ano lizard, which I also have, which is much faster, much jumpier, and like more unpredictable. Whereas leopard geckos are usually more slow, more predictable, especially once you get used to like keeping it and like knowing like how it thinks. So once you've kept a leopard gecko for a while, you can kind of tell like when it's gonna eat, like when it's gonna jump to get food, when it's gonna like jump off a table or something. So yeah, we're close to the end of the video. Please tell me if you agree or disagree. Maybe there's some underrated species that you think should be mentioned more, or like that maybe you disagree with some of the things I said. So if any of those things are true, please tell me. I love replying to comments because I'm kind of jobless and there's nothing else to do. And let me know if you're thinking of getting a leopard gecko, or like if you've learned anything from this video, which would be great. That's like my main goal. Yeah, and thanks for watching.